Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Morning Light. It's a 6 by 8, and I finished this. I haven't been drinking, honestly. uh, I finished this uh, yesterday, day before, something like that. I'm real happy with it too. I've been trying to get better at doing like that hazy stuff in the distance or middle distance kind of thing. So especially that feeling when you're in the woods and it's sort of dark, where you are, but you're going to come out into there's a lighted area and it seems really bright and hazy, that sort of thing. It could be foggy or it could be dusty or it could be just hazy. Anyway, what was my strategy? Well, here, let's talk. Well, right now we're painting on the hardboard, which has been prepped with 2 coats of transparent gesso. And I sand a little bit in between coats. It gives me a nice smooth surface to paint on. We're painting right now with a bit of, it's a mixture of burnt umber and perylene black slash green, just to balance out some of those red tendencies in the burnt umber. It gives me a little more flexibility. And anyway, I'm going to see that tree I did in the, that's behind, the one in the middle. Actually, it's dead middle. That is painted a bit darker than I would normally in an underpainting, but my strategy, as you're going to see in a little bit, is to kind of scumble over it and then paint in with the color I'm after. This is in opposition to the idea of, say, just lightly indicating it in the underpainting and then going in and painting it a tone and then painting the sky up to the edge, because that tends to bring a degree of stiffness into things, which that the other option is the solution that I'm going to be showing you here is indirect, but it's not as indirect. Once I'm actually going in with color, I'm working alla prima. It's not like I'm waiting for it to dry and then glazing and then scumbling. And scumbling is a really easy way to get that sort of effect I'm talking about, but it has its pitfalls. It has a certain feeling that is very, kind of reminds you of paint. My thought was to, hold on, I have to let the Alfie out of the office here. My thought is to like paint in that tree a little darker, then I'm going to do a scumble action over that earlier in the painting instead of scumbling over the top of a mostly finished passage, right? So that is my miniature innovation. And you got to innovate. You got to try new things, especially for to solve problems that you need to solve painting wise, and that's certainly one. And there's a lot of ways to do it. I think canvas can be a little more forgiving in some ways. Alright, so you can see I've kind of scumbled over that very quickly, and now I'm going in and defining the areas that are going to be really light colored. And you'll see over the course of this whole painting that I just build it up and build it up. Yeah, and it's not super pretty right now, and also those trees in the back, they're kind of a gray. I don't ultimately want them to be gray. You're going to see we're going to paint them in with a prettier color. Yeah, and then of course one thing you could do is you could wait for this whole level to dry and then do a lot of cool stuff right on top of it. Again, that's going very indirect. And that can be, that's a fine way to work. I prefer to kind of get things looser, juicier. Too many times up on the easel, will give you a bit of a stiff result, and I'm never interested in that. I don't mind things looking a little designy, and I think this painting does look a bit designy, but that's cool. That's how I rock and roll. Yeah. Anyway, we've got an ad for the book coming up. Got lots of orders for the book this last week, a couple weeks, and I was super happy about that because I worked really hard to put my ideas about painting. I mean, painting is so vast, it's not bad to get a lot of different people's takes on it. And of course, most importantly, you've got to put these things into practice. But if you'd like to get the book, I'm down in New Zealand, but I'm going to ship it to you internationally for $60. Postage has been going up, but I'm still holding the line at the $60. I will say I may have to go up to 65 if it keeps going like this, and I suspect it's because our New Zealand dollar is getting weak compared to the US dollar or something. I don't know, I don't follow much of that, but anyway, get the book. You'll be glad you did, especially now if might go up, which I don't want it to. I wish I could sell it cheaper. Enough of that. Enough about the book. So after we got all that scumbly stuff in, we're not completely done back there either, but we got enough to kind of set the stage. We're darkening the elements that were sort of dark already. You can go kind of pretty dark with that Paraline burn umber, but this is a black and burn umber mix, and it's got quite a lot of give in it still. It's not 100% black. I'm working a lot of times when I work that in, and you pick this up in the members area where you can see this video. It's a good one for you, about 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours. And I'm laying tips and stuff on you as I'm painting, or saying nothing at all, but at least it's real time. So I will definitely pass. Usually at the beginning I pass along a lot of insights, and I show you the reference. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying here, you got to have some give in that black. So I'm laying that in pretty thin, quite a lot of oil. It's just sort of reinforcing what's already there, but it's still a little bit not so much transparent. And if you didn't pick this up somewhere else in a book or somewhere else, but your shadows, generally your dark areas, you want transparency there. And the lighter the area, the more opacity you can have, the more heavy the paint as well. Like, you don't really want heavy paint in those shadow areas. If you didn't know that, write it down right now, because that could be messing up your paintings. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get lighting, natural ambient lighting hitting your painting, and if there's a bunch of heavy paint in the shadow areas, it's all going to catch the light. That's the main thing. But also in the way we see things, we see a lot of things in shadows, and they seem more transparent than when they're in bright daylight and very solid. Anyway, you can see we're bringing in, like, I could have gone, this is like a sepia painting, but I went into a little bit more of a reddish zone for these trees and things in the back, the grasses. And the grasses, well, we got quite a lot of video left to talk about it, so I can give you some insight there. So one thing, you think when you're starting out with the grasses, you think, oh, well, I can do daubs with this here brush. I can do daub, 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 and that's a lot like grass. You could be Mr. or Mrs. Daub. That was me too, and I got that developed to quite a refined approach. However, you'll see I used some daubs, but I want you to pay attention to the things I do with the side of the brush, and how I will pull in these, like, see, right, I'm doing right there. I pull in these little, like, horizontals, and then reconcile those with some daubs. Okay, so just be straight up daubs alone won't do it. In fact, the absolute best approach for grass is to use the side of your brush. Yeah, try it, you will see. Yeah, so playing up some of this stuff in the background, and this is like where actually I've got one on the that I'm going to be doing. It's very similar to this, and it's a little bigger. It's pretty much double the size, and it'll give me room to play around a bit more with those. those elements in the background that are suffused in light. I wouldn't mind them to be somewhat more delineated than I did here, but because of the small size, and if you start getting real tight with dinky little brushes, I already was worried this was taking me a little longer than I wanted it to. It's not because I don't want to put the time in. It's just that you want your paintings to have a certain freshness to them, a certain snap. And the longer you mess around with things and where you go over passages with another set of strokes as you're thinking about what you're going to do, meanwhile destroying all of your good and bad previous work. Some of it did need to be adjusted. That's where you get a little strategic. That's why I think it's good in your painting process you can see I worked in the back area, and then I developed the shadows, and then I went back into the back area and did some more. And then refining this grassy, bright area, trying to get a nice feel there that had some immediate feeling strokes, not overworked, but obviously you want them to represent what's going on. And here I'm trying to push the light a bit more. And this is the kind of thing, if you're working indirect, like say I wanted to just let this painting dry, that's brilliant for just doing that very thin over a dry surface. But here, this is mostly everything I'm doing here is wet and being done just with, you can see, what is this third passage over the lights. But to me, that's almost the subject of the painting. In fact, what is it called? Morning Light. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and so it would have been neat to even have some more details there, but you can see the area I'm working in is just a few inches across, so not that conducive to that. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how I figured things out and translated the photo reference into a painting that I think is pretty cool. Kind of evocative is what I was going for. And the other thing is like you can see this light hitting the grasses and the receding grasses. I tell you, we got just a minute or so left. One thing that would just, it doesn't read as well on video, but when this painting is dry, I'm going to put this in the store now and see if anybody's interested. If you're interested in it, go and buy it. But if no one does, I may at some point do a light glaze over the top with a very, very thin, say combination of transparent earth yellow and Indian yellow. Indian yellow alone is really super saturated. The whole thing would look like totally orange and lose that quality. But when I say glaze, it would be imperceptible. This is one reason why I wouldn't mind, if it doesn't. It will have a coating on it, but and I do like to do a bit of a coating with liquid before that glazing sort of step, just in case if things go really off the rails, I can quite easily just wipe it off with some, mineral spirits. And getting close to the end here. So, but hey, thanks. Hopefully you watched me doing this painting and enjoyed the whole process. And the rambling is just a bonus. A couple good tips in there for you. If you're a painter, when this video ends, you go look. What's this? A 6x8? You could go do a little 6x8 of your own. I pulled this. The basic reference is from an old pictorialist photo, but I took a lot of liberties. If you saw the original, I changed all sorts of things, and if I was to paint it again, I would do all the changes all over again. Namely, this, we got just a little time left. You see that little thin tree that's dividing the space on our right with sort of the main straight tree. I installed that, otherwise that would have just been open. And I should also point out in the reference that was the brightest area. I changed the brightest area to be more in the center. Yeah. Anyway, until we come back with another video of a painting session for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family.